Hey everybody, it's been a while since I uploaded anything to my channel, but it's been a busy few months for me. In early March, my wife gave birth to our first child, a healthy and happy little boy. So if you have kids or have been around kids, you know they're quite the time suck. So I haven't had a lot of time to do videos, but I have had a number of requests for a pedalboard update, and so that's what this is. But I'm going to do my best to keep it short because you should think of this as the first part of a before and after series because I'm going to make some changes from what you see here in the next couple of weeks, and I might do another follow-up video after that. But I'll talk to you about this one and sort of how I got here and what I'm thinking in the future. So, as always, the board starts over here with a junction box from this one's mine. Great little way to get in and out of the board conveniently on the same side. It's really just a convenience thing. There's nothing to it, but I just like having it there. Then it jumps into the Disaster Air Designs DPC5. I've got a few videos of this up. If you don't know what this is, it's a great tool from Matt over there. It's a MIDI controller, a true bypass looper, a preset organizer. It's pretty much a wonder box of fun and joy. So yeah, I like this pedal, but this is sort of maybe the primary change of what I'm doing in this next iteration. For as few pedals as I have on the board and the way I like to play, I just think that I'd probably be better served by going back to the DMC. So I had a DMC3 on my board. Check out demos of that on my channel if you don't know what that is. But I'm going to go to a DMC4. The thing I like maybe the most about the DPC5 is that with one tap tempo switch here, I can control the timeline and the flint. I'll talk more about those in a second. And I can do that on the DMC4 along with having all the MIDI control over the timeline. So I'm going to go back to that. But for this board, the first channel here is my Diamond Compressor. I've had this since 2008. It's a great pedal. I never shut it off, really. It's flexible enough that I could do different things with it, but I just love the way it sounds with the EQ and the subtle compression. It's just great. The first loop and maybe the most significant change on this board is my fuzz pedal. For years, probably since 2007, 2008, I've had a Screddy fuzz on my board of some kind or another. Had muffs for a while, and then went to a lunar module, which I've had forever. And honestly, it's a little weird looking down at my pedal board not having Screddy on it. I still love the lunar module. It's one of my favorite fuzzes, but for how I use fuzz, it doesn't make sense for me to keep two on the board. And with a new baby, certain sacrifices had to be made. So that's gone, and in its place is this Paul Trombetta Mini Bone. I've described this pedal as maybe the most inspiring thing I've ever plugged into. I can do a lot of what I do with the lunar module, but there's this whole crazy side that I love. It cleans up, and I mean it's just a great pedal. There's a demo of this on my channel as well with an earlier amp and guitar that I had, but just a great fuzz. And I'm stacking that into the Dirty Little Secret, primarily for leads or heavier stuff. I had one of the first of the Dirty Little Secret line from Cattle and Bread, and I tried a couple other pedals in this spot. I went back to a Mad Professor Sweet Honey for a little bit. I had a Bogner Blue that I tried, and I think maybe my favorite of the bunch was probably the Barber Gain Changer that I had on here for a brief time. But I really just appreciate having a 3-band EQ to control. And the great thing about this pedal is that it's got two modes, the super bass and the super lead. I've got it set in super bass, and I'll sort of mess with the gain depending on what I'm going for. But just a great pedal. It's a little looser sounding than I'm used to and maybe prefer, but live it just sounds really great, especially stacked into from the Mini Bone. So great pedal there, especially again love having that switch I can flip over and have all kinds of gain and saturation for those sort of heavier Marshall tones. But cool pedal. That goes in. Then it goes into the Timmy, which is again maybe the cornerstone of my board. I've had this forever. I love it. It does everything I need it to do. It works with all my amps, all the different amps I've had, and all the different guitars. Again, what I'm using now is this G&L ASAT Classic Custom and my Dr. Z Maz 8. So Timmy, yeah, just great. The fifth loop in the board was open, and I had this Ibanez SF10 swell flanger. I figured I'd throw that on there. I got this cheap enough that I can have it around for when I get the itch for flange, but it does some cool chorusing stuff and a great flanger. It can sound like a police siren if you want. Just a cool pedal. I don't know why these aren't more popular, but just a really cool pedal. in general. So that's with the DPC5. It allows me to sort of blend these in a true bypass way. Also, it has the turbo tuner and the tuner out loop here, which is great. The turbo tuner, aesthetically, I don't love it, but it's accurate and does its job. So it goes out of the DPC5 with all of those effects into the timeline, which, you know, no explanation needed, I don't think, on that. Then it jumps up to the Flint, which, I mean, I've done some demos of, I think, most of the pedals on this board, but I think it's maybe the best value pedal here, maybe outside of the Timmy. But I would spend $150 on a tremolo that had tap, tempo, and 3 modes, and I would also spend $150 on a 3-mode reverb that sounded great and was easy to use. So $300 for this guy, you know, probably pricey for some people, but it does exactly what I need. Came off of the Eventide Space, which was just, you know, a smorgasbord of reverb, and I went to the Blue Sky, and then I added the Flint, and then really it came down to, you know, I don't really need to do that much with my reverb, so I'm down to the Flint now. Again, had to make some sacrifices when the baby came along, but this, I mean, it does exactly what I need. I love the tremolo. I used the harmonic last week, the harmonic trem, and it was, I mean, it was just sounded great. Got lots of compliments on how that sounded. So this is the board as it sits now. Changes you'll notice from earlier. Again, there's no more Screddy, which, I mean, it is weird, but I love this trombetta fuzz. It sounds so great. Changes you'll see in the future. I'm gonna put a volume pedal back on here, I think. I don't use it all the time, but for certain things, it's just great to be able to control that with your foot if you're doing things with your hands, like EBO and slides and whatever else. So I'll have that. I'm also going to put a micropog on here. I've messed with a micropog a few times, and I think that for what I'm doing right now, it would be great to have that back on here. I'm going to add another EP booster. The way that I like to use the Timmy, sort of my foundation drive, the way it is here, it's sort of acting as a glorified boost, but I just want something that I can actually boost volume if I need to. So I'm going to add an EP booster back on here, switching to the DMC4, and that's sort of what you can expect maybe in my next video. Nothing's going away. The flanger may not be on here all the time. I just, again, use that when I get the itch, but lots of great fun pedals. I feel really blessed to have what I do, and so hope you like this video. I'll maybe play a little bit in the next one, and until then, take care.